How's it going, everyone? K-Lumity here, and today we are going to be talking about Trolls Remix Rescue on the Xbox Series X. This is a video game that is based off of the movies by DreamWorks, and it is a pretty fun little 3D platformer. It has a lot of charm to it, has a lot of bright colors in it, and it has a lot of customization in it, which is kind of unusual for 3D platformers. But this game actually allows you to create your own trolls. Now, I actually do use trolls plural because you can create multiple different characters and have multiple different characters saved at the same time. So that's pretty cool. And there's quite a few different customization options that you can pick. You can pick different clothes, you can pick different hair, you can pick different facial hair, you can pick different noses, eye color, different eyebrows. There's a lot of different customization choices, even voices. So there's a lot to pick, and that's awesome. That is awesome. There's so much to choose from. There's so much creativity in this game, and I absolutely love that. And you can even play as some of the actual characters from the movie as well, such as Poppy and Branch. The gameplay itself is really fun. If you've played any 3D platformer, you probably know what to expect. You're running around a lot and you're collecting these little beads in this game, and these beads can be used to purchase different outfits and different clothing items for your trolls. And you also collect a few other things while you're going around these different areas. You have to collect these ability tokens, and these ability tokens will basically they'll give you a new ability, and they'll let you progress through the game. There's certain abilities that you need to be able to progress further in the game. So as you find them, it will let you get to areas that you wouldn't be able to get to before. So pretty good way of doing it. It's nice to have that type of classic platforming progression in a video game, and they do a good job of implementing it here. While the game is not perfect, it is still quite a bit of fun. If you like 3D platformers, I think that you should really try this game out. Just because it has trolls in the name, and just because it's a Trolls video game, I really don't think you should let that deter you if you are a fan of 3D platformers. This is a really good one, and if you grew up with a lot of the games on the PS2, you're probably going to enjoy this one. It really makes me wish we got more movie and TV tie-in video games. I know that a lot of people like to bash those games and make fun of them, but I grew up with a lot of those games, so I have a kind of soft spot for these movie tie-in video games, and I do like playing them whenever they pop up. And this one, it really does stand out from a lot of the other ones that pop up, especially because it feels like there was a lot of effort put into this game. There's a lot of fun boss fights, a lot of interesting different enemies, and as you find different enemies, you actually will unlock like little pictures of them for your scrapbook, and if you find all the different enemies and you defeat one of each enemy, you'll actually get an achievement for it. There's achievements for talking to each of like the main characters. There's a whole bunch of really fun achievements and just fun stuff to go for in this game that really makes this game worth playing, and it honestly gives you quite a bit of playtime. This isn't a super short game. It took me probably like 5 to 6 hours to beat, which I think is actually pretty decent for a 3D platformer, especially these days. So I was very happy with that. I was very happy with the time it took, and I enjoyed every single second of it. There wasn't a single time where I felt like the game was dragging on. The pacing was really good, and I really enjoyed every single area as well. You have 4 major different environments to explore in this game, which are split into 4 different areas. You have one area, which is the starting area, that's kind of like the troll village. It's like the area where you first start up at, and it's, you know, what you see in the movie. And then you also have the next area, which is all lava everywhere, and it's like the heavy metal area. Then you have a steampunk that area, and it's kind of like classical music going on. And then the last area is like disco. It's like, you know, I don't know, 70s, 80s style music, you know, the disco stuff that's going on, 60s maybe. I don't know. It's disco. That's all I know. But it's cool. All the areas look great. All the sounds and the different songs going on in the background for these areas are fantastic. And there's actually little musical numbers in some of these areas. They take like a song from, you know, the movie and they'll put it in this. And it will go into like a fixed camera angle, and you will be running around while this song is going on, and you'll basically, it's almost like how you see the musical numbers in the movies, where there's like, you know, they're on an adventure, but there's music going on at the same time, and they're trying to overcome challenges while the music is going on. It has that vibe to it, and they do a good job of trying to implement that sort of thing. And don't worry, it's not like it pops up every single, 5 minutes or something like that. Whenever there's any sort of like songs or any sort of musical numbers, it's very spread out. I think there might be like one per area, and there's only, like I said, there's only the 4 major environments, so that isn't a huge deal to me. Each of these 4 environments, though, does have 3 little different sections inside of it. I actually shouldn't even call them little. Each area is actually pretty big, so each of these environments have 3 different places you can go within it, and they all feel really unique as well. I think they did a good job with the level design and making every area feel unique and feel different and really stand out on their own, so that's another really good positive thing about this game. Now, let's talk about some of the negatives of this game, because this isn't a perfect game. There's definitely some flaws. I think that the positives definitely outweigh the flaws, but there's some flaws in terms of immersion, is what I would say, because there's some areas in this game where you can phase through things. Now, I never phased through anything major. Like, it wasn't a platform that I needed to get to or anything like that. It wasn't something that was, like, crucial to get to the next area. You know, it wasn't really on the path, per se. You know, I was kind of just wandering around looking for beads and stuff like that. And I happened to be able to, like, walk through some branches and stuff like that. I would just phase right through them, and I was just like, okay, that seems a little lazy. I would have liked them to make sure that there's no clipping and no phasing through things. That would have been nice, but, you know, at least it wasn't a major thing. It just happened to be a little side area where I was able to walk through some tree branches, and there were some other environmental things where I was able to just, like, walk right through them, and I was just like, okay, they could have done better about that. And then the only other phasing issue I noticed, I did phase through the floor once, but it didn't actually, like, you know, it didn't take a life away or anything like that. There's not a life system in this game, but it didn't, you know, it didn't kill my character. I'm always careful with what I say on YouTube, because YouTube, you know, they don't like words like kill and death. But it didn't kill my character when I phased through the floor. And it just popped her right back up where I was already at. And the only other time I saw it was with this flute. There's this flute where you're supposed to put corks in it to make the wind go into in a stronger direction. And whenever you put the corks down, you know, this flute's all kind of like bendy and everything. It's cartoony looking and it's all bent up. And you would expect, well, it has like a, you know, an angle to it, so you would expect the cork to go down at the same angle as the hole. But instead, the cork just goes straight down and it basically misses the hole completely. So you just have a cork phasing through the flute, and it's like halfway in the hole of the flute, and it just looks, doesn't look good. So there's some issues with phasing in this game and stuff like that. And it's not major, but it is just a little bit immersion breaking. There is also this one other issue where, like, some of the cutscenes, when they first pop up the cutscenes, the textures won't be perfect. They'll be, like, a little bit, it almost looks like they're smeared, and then they will clear back up, like, within a second. So that's something else I noticed. Again, it's nothing that's a deal breaker, but it is a little bit of annoyance to see those things. Overall, though, if you like 3D platformers, I still think that this is a must-own on the Xbox Series X. If you are looking for a good 3D platformer, this is a pretty fun one. This one definitely stands out compared to a lot of the other ones that we've gotten in recent years. And I wouldn't mind actually getting a sequel. It's pretty fun. You know, there's a fun little story here, too. But, you know, stories in 3D platforms, I don't know how much people care about them. But, you know, you got this guy who's basically hypnotizing people with smooth jazz, and you got to stop him from hypnotizing any more people. And that's the story. So it's got a fun little story going on. It's got a lot of charm to it. And I think that if you like 3D platformers, you'll probably like this game. So go check out Trolls Remix Rescue on the Xbox Series X or whatever your console of choice is. And I will talk to you in the next video. You have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.